Very much so. And the reason is that they allowed a shadow banking system to develop outside the conventionally regulated banking system. So on the one hand, you had $20 trillion in the conventional banking system, and you had another banking system develop which was designed to bypass regulations. And these are these so-called special purpose investment vehicles. And that is where all the trouble started.
But how on earth could they bypass regulations? Surely governments should have made sure that they couldn't. So were governments asleep at the wheel?
Very much so. And it's almost impossible to figure out why governments allowed this to happen. Everyone knew that it was occurring, and yet the governments sat by and let it happen.
Why do you think that occurred?
You know, I think there was an ideology that there was, first of all, a real strong belief in free markets and deregulation. Secondly, they had almost sort of excessive belief in the ability of bankers to manage their own risk.
So when politicians then say, oh, it's the bankers' fault, that's not strictly speaking true. Lots of people are really responsible. Yeah,
I mean, the bankers were at fault, but the governments allowed it to happen. So in effect, the governments sort of didn't police the bankers in a way to prevent this.
All right, lots of people have been drawing parallels with the Great Depression. The chairman of the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, is supposed to be a big authority on it. Do you think that there are parallels you can draw in terms of a recession sliding into a full-blown depression?
The Great Depression, contrary to popular opinion, the Great Depression did not start with the 1929 crash. It started with the runs on the banks that began in the US at the end of 1930 and in Europe in 1931. We have exactly the same thing going on. It's not, you don't see people lining up at banks taking out their money. What we have is a silent bank run, which is a run in the wholesale funding of markets, of banks. And that's what the president and the central bankers mean when they talk about the credit market stopping to function. The difference is, in 1929 to 1933, central bankers believed that bankers who got themselves into trouble should not be bailed out. This time, we have learned our lesson. The one time they tried that experiment was with Lehman Brothers. And
they let it collapse.
They let it collapse, believing that bankers who'd got themselves into trouble should not be bailed out.